Hello, I'm Vince, and this is my review of the Flipboard application. Flipboard is, I want to say, an online newsreader. It presents things in a little bit of a more magazine format, the sort of typical static RSS readers that you guys are used to. You can see over here, this is the opening page of Flipboard. Again, this is pulling in any of the stuff that you currently have selected. So we'll go ahead and look inside of Flipboard to see what's going on. Flipboard gives you sort of 9 slots that you can fill with content. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete some content just to show you guys how content's added. Content is added by one of a number of different networks that Flipboard's predetermined. I guess they're crunching their own feeds, and I understand that they're not actually crunching RSS feeds, which might be the basis of a lawsuit. Regardless, you've got all this stuff to kind of choose from, as well as your own social networks. You can see one of the neat things that I just discovered earlier today is that Flipboard's pulling in my Twitter lists. So that's kind of interesting, and we'll look at that in a little while. Actually, let's go ahead and add one of my my Twitter lists. Okay, so that's been added. You can see over here, so far I've got, I guess, 6 different sort of predetermined channels that I've loaded in from Flipboard. We're going to take a look at those predetermined channels first, and then we'll go ahead and take a look at what it does to your social networks or with your social network data, which is really cool. So taking a look at, let's say, Wired magazine. Wired's got a channel through Flipboard. My understanding is Flipboard is scouring the Wired site for the latest and greatest, coolest content, and it's determining that by, I guess, looking at Twitter or some other sources to see what's being talked about. I haven't quite looked into or figured out how that works yet, but regardless, Flipboard is telling me these 6 pages of content are what I want to be looking at today on Wired. So flipping through, you'll see that it's got the sort of typical flipbook reader type of thing, which isn't all that impressive. But then what's really interesting is the page layouts are varied based on what kind of content it's pulling in. So let's just say we've got a couple of article items here, but we've also got photo items here. What's cool here is you also get to see what people are saying about this on the, do we say Twitterverse? Twitterverse. So we could do that. We could actually tap on Read on Web to see what the current, the actual web source of this article was. I want to say it's a little bit buggy at the moment, so some content isn't showing up all that good. So we can flip through Wired a little bit more. I was hoping there's some video content. It doesn't look like there is any here. Here's an article on zombies. Of course, I'm going to check that one out. So that's what it does for your sort of more typical content. If we look at Cool Hunting or Design Sponge, we'll take a look at Cool Hunting. You can see again, this is what Cool Hunting's sharing on Twitter. And so the way this works is it looks like Flipboard goes out, fetches the content, crunches it onto its own servers, and then feeds it back to you. So all of these channels that we're looking at are pre-decided, which I would expect over time will probably change to complete on the fly. So what's really cool about this, though, is I feel that this is the first time that something on my iPad feels like a new experience to me. So typically, I'm fairly used to seeing RSS readers and stuff like that, and none of that's really all that impressive to me. It's sort of like, okay, great, I've seen this blog before. So we'll take a look at Facebook first. And on the top here, it actually shows recent contributors. So people that, again, it's determined that their content is going to be interesting and relevant to me. How it does that, don't know yet. But it's picked Ingrid Hobbs, Christine Curcio Flynn, Matt Gomez, Aaron Dizak, and J. Robin Wards. So you can see that it's taking a look at images that people are posting. In this case, my friend Felix is going to Colombia, and he's letting us know via showing a map. It's showing random status updates. So in this case, Jason Riggs finds it kind of funny, finds it kind of sad. The best dreams in which he's dying is the best he's ever had. Dude, that is totally depressing. And it allows you to actually reply to that stuff or like it from the interface. So kind of flipping through a little bit more. So in this case, half the screen is one item. Then you've got a quarter page slot, sounds like a print term, for a single update. And then you've got an image here. I guess it's Karen showing off her little baby. And then another post by Jacob Goldman of Loho. So he's talking about here that he's got some press, and it's a link to the press item itself. So I want to say it's a little bit slow. This is pulling from, I guess, New York Magazine. And again, I think this is some sort of web hit. Now what's cool about this is I'm sitting here browsing Facebook, but it doesn't feel like I'm browsing Facebook. It kind of feels like I'm reading a publication that was put together for me. So, first page, second page. Again, here's some content. Now, what's interesting is I would find a lot of this interesting. This over here is Craig Newmark of Craigslist posting something. My friend Cynthia posting something from San Diego Comic-Con, which totally wish I was at. Candace Wenzel is posting pictures of herself by a candle, as well as some other stuff. So, is it changing the world? No, but it's totally changing the way that I'm reading Facebook content, which is really cool. I'd be curious to see what the algorithms and methods are that it's deciding what information I actually want to see. I guess Jack is telling us that jailbreaking iPhone apps is now legal. It's a relief. But I don't know what the magic is yet behind it, but it's pretty cool. Again, it's all following the same format. Anything that you're viewing, you could see what your social network has said about it. Let's see if anybody's commented on my post. So over here, there was a young lady telling me on Facebook that where she was playing D&D the other day was just hit by a tornado. And of course, I was more interested in D&D than the tornado. And I guess here my friend's calling me a nerd. So again, much cooler than your typical Facebook page. This is coverage of Superheroes vs. Westboro Baptist Church. You guys remember some of that stuff. God hates Jedi, and the guy's wearing a... Oh, dude, that's just wrong. Okay, so next is we'll check out Twitter. Let's see what's happening with my Twitter account. So now what's really interesting about Twitter, as you guys know, you can't really post much to Twitter. It's 140 characters. But most people are usually posting links and some sort of commentary on the content. So if we look over here, this is a page just made, page publication made up kind of like the Facebook thing I just showed you, of stuff that people have posted to Twitter. I'm not entirely sure why certain content's showing up on my screen. Flipboard is really cool. I'm a big fan. Been playing with it. It took me, it totally sucks. I tweeted about it the second it came out when I saw the demo video, and then they were kind of mobbed so you couldn't set up your Facebook or Twitter if you just downloaded it. So I was only able to set up my my Twitter feed today. It really irritates the hell out of me that I have no way of clipping and sort of taking this content and throwing it to something for later. It also does not cache content. Not caching content kind of sucks if you're a commuter or you don't have the 3G. The other thing that I feel Flipboard is really lacking in is it's got no support for RSS. The selection of content is a little bit limited because it's really only the content that Flipboard's already crunching for you. So I'm hoping they'll change that in the future, and I look forward to other stuff from Flipboard.